What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick.
I'm Jeff Grindstoffer.
And welcome to episode number 33 of Vinyl Bang. Today we are doing another viewer's choice, part 3. This one is, again, our friend Cha from Pig Destroyer, learning the idea, the topics for this episode.
Yeah, I don't know how to go about saying this. He needs to be on the payroll whenever we get a payroll.
Honda Civics and Five Guys Unlimited.
Why? Let's not get crazy about the Honda Civics. He can have a couple of my fries from Five Guys, but that's about it. I mean, we don't. I'm not trying. That's just good, man. Good burgers. But I will share some of my fries with him because they always give you like a shitload of fries that you don't need. So. All for you, Jaw. Thank you for giving us stuff to talk about, and giving us another episode to do. So, cheer for Alex Jaw. Sir, good job. Good job, Jaw.
And real quick, when this episode airs, I believe the next day, Alex and Melanie will be getting married. So, congratulations to them. And yeah.
Yes. Congratulations to Alex and Melanie on the wedding.
This will air, and then hopefully Alex watches this today, and then the next day is the wedding. So, I will see you there, buddy. Jeff, let's get started on this episode. We're not wasting people's time with our banter here. The first topic Alex chose is an album containing the name of your co-host, either Nick or Jeff. So, do you have a band that contains a member with the name Nick?
Yeah. So we took this and kind of not really changed it, but whenever we saw the topic about a band that has a member named Nick or Jeff, I said we should do one about the other one. Like Nick's going to do one with a band that has a band member named Jeff, and I'm going to do one that has a band member named Nick. And I'm going to start off with Queens of the Stone Age, rated R. Nick Oliveri, of course, is the bassist, was the bassist for Queens of the Stone Age in their early years. And I couldn't really decide if I wanted to do self-titled or rated R or Songs for the Deaf, but I decided to go with this original album art, first ever vinyl pressing, 180 gram audio file, contains Feel Good Hit of the Summer, and yeah, you can read all that shit later. But yeah, this is an awesome album, an awesome band.
Yep.
Nick Oliveri's bass playing on this is phenomenal. It's just such a good album.
Yeah, it's an album that made me a fan of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing the video for Lost Art of Keeping a Secret, and it didn't really catch on with me. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is okay, this band's alright or whatever. And then I saw the video for Go With the Flow, and I'm like, okay, now I'm a fan of Queens of the Stone Age. But yeah, I missed out the first time around with this. But yeah, love this album. And unfortunately, this is the only copy that I have. Like I know that they've done other pressings with the red. I don't know if it's a deluxe version or what. I don't know if it's a double disc, but
yep.
Yeah. I got to get that sometime down the road. But.
Yeah, I've been trying to track that down. That came out a couple of years ago, and it had like a bunch of like B-sides and live stuff that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But and then if you're a colored vinyl enthusiast, it would be good to have to your collection too, I suppose. But
yeah, there's a couple tracks on that that's really good, like Born to Hula. I think it might be on there. I don't know. It's on the Spotify version of that.
So Ode to Clarissa. There's a ton of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ode to Clarissa's on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ode to Clarissa's.
Yep. I think you might have the same version I have. Is that single vinyl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing I got. But cool. Well, yeah, this was a no-brainer for me because unfortunately, you suggested Nevermore, and unfortunately, I do not own any Nevermore records. So I'm putting this out there. If anybody listens to our show and you own a copy of Dreaming Neon Black on vinyl and you would like to sell that to me, or what was the other one? Dead Heart in a Dead World. If you have that on vinyl and you don't want it anymore, hit me up because I'm a Jeff Loomis fan. I'm a Nevermore fan. They're a cool band. But I don't have any Nevermore. Jeff suggested Nevermore, and it was a good suggestion. Unfortunately, I don't own any of their vinyl because I'm not that rich. I do, however, own a lot of Slayer. Jeff Hanneman. This is a nuclear blast pressing, web shop exclusive, clear 180 gram vinyl. Out of 666, I got number 123 of my favorite Slayer album, Seasons in the Abyss. And a lot like this episode we did a couple episodes back. It's a clear. That whole center label that American Records had. Yeah, this is a great Slayer album. It's it's the Slayer entering the '90s was this one, right? I mean,
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a cool record. I loved all the stuff. I think it was the last one Lombardo did before he departed and came back years later. Let's see here. War Ensemble, Blood Red, Spirit and Black, Expendable Youth, Dead Skin Mask, Hollowed Point, Skeletons of Society, Temptation, Born of Fire, and Seasons in the Abyss. Yeah, they shot that music video in Egypt when the Gulf War was starting to happen. I think they got some crazy stories of seeing like tanks and stuff like that while they were out there. But yeah, man, Slayer, Jeff Hanneman, rest in peace. He is my favorite Jeff that I own a vinyl of, ode to my co-host, Mr. Grindstoffer.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I own an OG copy of that. I'm pretty sure Dr. Steve Goldberg sold me that like a couple of years back.
Cool.
Pretty sure it's an OG copy.
It's a great record.
It is for sure. It's definitely one of my top favorite Slayer records.
Alrighty. Well then, the next topic that was chosen, I like this one a lot.
I do too.
Favorite album to fall asleep to?
This was I don't really like listen to music whenever I fall asleep. I mean, I fall asleep all the time while I'm doing, stuff like working or watching TV or whatever. I just fall asleep. But I figured a good one that I wanted to feature, and is probably one that I would fall asleep to had I really put thought into it. Opeth, Damnation. Man, I love this record. I know that you and I have discussed this before, and you're not so much a fan of it. I'm pretty sure their fan base as a whole, like probably there's a lot of mixed feelings about this record. I love it. This is one that my wife and I both enjoy a lot. We listen to. We haven't actually listened to this copy. I got this a couple months back whenever I went to Tulsa, and I haven't actually got this on the turntable. But this would be an album that I put it on, and like whenever she's painting or whatever, it would be something that both of her and I would both enjoy. But yeah, I mean, this is their, of course, their acoustic, slower, no growls, no metal, no distortion, no anything, but just a beautiful record, awesome record. And ironically enough, since it's one that I chose to fall asleep to, they have the track "Death Whispered a Lullaby." A fitting record, I would say. Yeah, to fall asleep to. So, yep, that's my pick. Opeth, Damnation.
Oh yeah. So my story with his, I used to work at a Tower Records, and there was a guy there who's a big Opeth fan. He got me into like Demon of the Fall and the Drapery Fall. So like Blackwater Park was the album that they had put out at the time. The next record they put out was Deliverance, and I'd gone to see them at CHAgain in Springfield, Virginia, and they came out and performed pretty much most of that album. But man, they sounded exactly like they do on record. I was so impressed with how good they sounded live. And then the next time they came through, they played the 930 Club in DC, and Porcupine Tree headlined. And I guess I was in the dark about what I was about to go see, but at this point, Damnation had come out, and it was all acoustic stuff. And I was so bummed out about that because I was expecting like the mix of death metal and whatever you want to call the other half of Opeth, the acoustic side. But it just kept going and going, and people were like yelling at them to play faster. And then at one point, Michael, whatever his last name is, he goes, unfortunately, our drummer, he only brought one pedal, so he can't do any death metal. And then he turned around and looked at him and nodded, and then they just went. He goes, that's it. And then everybody just like went crazy. Yeah, it was funny as shit. I took some cool pictures that night, but I don't know what happened to any of them. But
Yeah.
that was that really. But yeah, I remember being bummed that night because they were just playing all the slow stuff, and it is what it is. But
I could see that if you went in blindly and didn't know what you were getting into, that would be, you know, kind of a bummer.
you think you're
yeah, you think you're getting an Opeth show and you're getting like candlelit, you know, acoustics, like
you're getting Opeth unplugged.
Opeth unplugged, yeah. Side note, dude, they're fucking great live bands. Like we just saw them. Melanie and I went and saw them in Nashville last year or year before with Mastodon, and they played like they've done the more proggy stuff over the last few years, you know, where Michael isn't growling on the albums, but whenever they performed, dude, like they played Deliverance and they played the Drapery Falls, and I mean they still just bring it, dude. I mean, they still just, you know, it was a phenomenal show. They're still a great live band, and I am very eagerly anticipating the new album, The Last Will and Testament. I am excited for new Opeth. Yeah. So anyway.
All right.
Moving on.
So this is an album. This is funny because I don't really fall asleep to music either. But I remember I used to listen to this a lot when I was a teenager. I was a freshman in high school when I had this on CD, and this boombox that I had, it had like a timer on it. So I guess I could play music and I'd go to bed to it. It also had a timer set to like alarm to wake me up in the morning when the CD player would start. And I always had this in there. It's Full Metal, the album, the WWF wrestling stuff, wrestling theme songs, plus two songs that features members of Typo Negative, Propane, Such a Surge, Overkill, Sabotage, and Anthrax. I believe Scott Ian does something on here. These two intro songs, they're songs that they've used over the years for like Monday Night Raw and other stuff. But it's got the theme songs of Diesel, King Mabel, the 123 Kid, Gold Dust, Smoking Guns, Psycho Sid, who passed away earlier today. Rest in peace, Psycho Sid. This guy right here.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, sucks to see that. Razor Ramon, Bret the Hitman Hart, Hakushi, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Double J Jeff Jarrett. This is a bootleg, obviously. I'm not going to give away the information of the gentleman who makes these, but he continues to make them. They're awesome. This is a blue pressing. Look at that. He even got the new generation logo with the F. They had to get rid of that years ago because the World Wildlife Foundation kind of like cracked down on them. But yeah, this is an album as a kid. I used to, like I said, a teenager when I was a huge wrestling mark, probably bigger than I am now. But Full Metal, the album, it's got a lot of people on there. I bought it mostly because it had Diesel. Diesel was my guy. Kevin Nash. Shout out to Kevin Nash if he watches this show.
He does.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah. I got a letter from him. He said, "You're my favorite, not Nick."
He's
we're doing that shit again.
He's been in a bunch of movies since he retired in wrestling, but before like he blew up in wrestling, in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, he played the Super Shredder. So yeah, a lot of wrestling.
There you go.
A lot of wrestling fans knew that one.
Yeah.
Next topic.
I remember watching wrestling whenever it was World Wrestling Federation a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
it changed over in I think 2002.
Sounds all right.
Sucks. I don't know how these fucking animal people beat Vince McMahon in the fucking courts. That's crazy.
Right.
All right. Next topic. Favorite band. We're gonna say this. Favorite band with a mascot. And there's a ton of them. There are a ton of them. But this is pretty cool. The one you chose, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah. As far as a mascot, I mean, there are certain bands that have mascots that are an ongoing thing. Like Eddie from Iron Maiden or Vic Rattlehead from Megadeth. They have a consistent ongoing thing throughout the albums. And whenever we were discussing this, we decided that we would go with something that, if you saw a figure, you would know what band it was referencing. Like if you saw somebody with a tattoo or whatever with a shirt on that had this particular figure, that it would count. So I am going to go. That's what I went and ran with. So I am going to go with Skeeter from Primus. Skeeter has made several appearances over the years on, like I said, T-shirts, stickers, tattoos. If anybody that is a Primus fan ever sees this little guy, it's a Primus reference. That whatever it is representing Primus. So I decided to go with Skeeter, which is of course short for Muskeeter, a mosquito. Is the official is the unofficial, I guess, mascot for Primus. So, and plus, like, I kind of want to get to where I cover all the Primus albums and all the episodes too. So this is another scratch in the scorecard. Miscellaneous debris with Skeeter on the cover.
No, I mean, that's a cool one. I do, when you were bringing this up yesterday, I was like, oh shit, they do kind of have an unofficial little guy there. So,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even today, I mean, they're still making merchandise with Skeeter on it. So it's like, he's a mascot, more or less.
Yeah, Mr. Index had a little dude for a while. I think that Greg Houston guy was drawing, like the first shirt I ever had this dude on the back, but he was like on some of their covers, like Discordia and shit, but unofficial. All right. So I went with a band that you had mentioned, Iron Maiden. How could you not? If you didn't see this little face right here, where is he? You never saw that face, you would know. That's those eyes, that nose. This is Eddie. Number of the Beast, probably their most popular record. Somewhere in Time. Look at him there, looking in the future, looking all fucking crazy and wild. Power Slave. What a fucking record this was back in the Egyptian days.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite one, The Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. And he's kind of futuristic and whatnot there. Maiden, what a fucking band. Everybody, I hope knows, or I can understand if you're not a fan of the operatic vocals, but they're like, one of those very legendary metal bands. And
for sure.
If you saw Eddie's face, I would assume people should know who they're looking at or what this is,
I would imagine there's probably an age limit in the metal community. Like kids probably 15 or under that are getting into metal probably don't know who Eddie is. But I mean, everybody else that was born like mid 70s, whoever, that they would know who Eddie was once they saw him. But there's an age gap there, or generational gap, that probably does not know who Eddie is. But,
maybe all over the world, people. I mean, they're still a huge band. They come to town, they pack an arena. So,
oh, absolutely,
yeah,
for sure.
All right, this next one. All right. Favorite record to smoke weed to? It's preposterous. Jeff,
Yeah.
This is a wild one, but I'm glad that you grabbed a stack here, because this would be interesting.
Yeah. So let me start off with this huge stack of records that I listen to. I don't smoke weed. I don't. And it's a good thing for the show, for Vinyl Bang, that I don't smoke weed, because there would be times where I would just get up and wander off and forget I was even on camera recording. Nick would do half the episode by himself. I would lose my car keys. I was never a good pothead. I used to as a teenager, and growing up, I just kind of drifted away from it. So I kind of put myself in a stoner state of mind whenever I pick this album. But this is one that I've wanted to talk about for a while. It's a great band. It's the only album I have from this band, but it's definitely one that I would listen to if I was imbibing in the Devil's Lettuce. And this, of course, I am referring to Blind Melon Soup, because this is like, it just has stoner written all over it. I'm not trying to be, stereotype, not trying to pigeonhole Blind Melon fans, but this is definitely one that I would listen to if I was high. Songs like Galaxy, 2x4, Birdie, Skinned, Toes Across the Floor, Walk, Dump Truck, Car Seat. It's such a great record. It is all around such a phenomenal record, but it is definitely one that I don't want to say that the band members were on weed while they were recording this, but it was a pretty good possibility that there was, maybe a couple of joints, floating around the recording studio or whatever while they were recording this. But yeah, I really wanted to feature a Blind Melon album. And as I said, this is the only one that I own, but what an album to own. I mean, like, I discovered Blind Melon in the early 90s with the No Rain video and had the debut album. It's a great album. It really is. But Nico is also a great album, and Soup. I got this last year before, whatever it was. I don't even remember when it was, but yeah, this is definitely one that I am proud to own. A 2017 reissue, remastered, and the sticker that comes along with the little piece of paper that describes what this is says it's pretty hard to find. So I found it and I bought it and I own it, and I'm going to listen to it one of these days, and maybe see if I can say this without my wife hearing me. Maybe I'll smoke weed for breakfast. But yeah, so there you go, Blind Melon Soup. One to smoke weed to.
Oh, I thought you were going to pick a whole stack. That's what I was like,
Yeah, I was gonna, but that would have been funny. Like I told Nick I was gonna make it so like a 3-hour episode just talking about that one topic, but all the music I listen to while I smoke weed.
I didn't know you did not smoke so much weed.
Not so much.
Fair enough. Yeah, I could do the same thing and sit here for hours and talk to you about all these albums that I smoked weed and listened to. But one that in particular that always stands out, because especially around the time when I was like as a teenager, really heavily getting into smoking weed, I was listening to a lot of this Tool Anima. This record was just and the second Korn album were just perfect for consuming cannabis, as our friend Alex Choss says. Purple vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the other one is too. I'm not sure. This is clearly a bootleg. No, this one's green. Swamp green. Oh yes. What a piece of shit. Stinkfist Eulogy H. Useful Idiot 46 and 2. Message to Harry Manback. Hooker with the Penis. Intermission Jimmy. Dia Evan Satan. Push It. Cesaro's Sumability. Anima, Ions, and Third Eye. This is an incredible fucking record. Shit, I did some crazy shit listening to this album when I was a senior in high school. Great fucking record. I did more than smoke pot to this. Anyways, did quite a few things to this album, but I love this record a lot. This was a great band. They still are a great band. I'm not so huge on their music today as much as I am on the first two full lengths, but Tool fucking rules. Nobody can hold a candle to this band, especially their drummer, Danny Carey. Please do our show. Yeah, I have one of those. I have one of those hanging somewhere right over here, I think.
Yeah, the lenticular keychain.
Yeah, man. Tool. They fucking.
Tool rules.
They do.
Love that album.
Yeah.
I'm still a fan of the stuff that they're doing now. Big fan of 10,000 Days and Vicarious and Vicarious, Lateralis.
Lateralis, then
Fear
10,000 Days, and then Fear Inoculum.
Fear Inoculum. Yeah.
Yep,
I still dig them, guys.
I saw them on tour when I saw them do the 10,000 Days tour. That was pretty interesting. Like I had like nosebleed seats, and I just remember like I didn't complain. It was free. Somebody gave me free tickets to that. But holy shit, when they like kicked in with the visuals, like it wasn't just like the screens behind them, like the stage they were standing on turned into a screen too. So that was so impressive.
Oh wow.
And they played an awful lot of stuff off the new record, which was cool because they were touring it. So,
right.
I don't remember how much they played off of like Anima or Undertow on that show, but again, it's always a good experience to see them, whether playing the songs you want to hear or not. Like, if you leave that in a bad mood, you suck. Because I'm not familiar with anything after Lateralis. I mean, I know songs, and I know the general ones that they normally like to play, but like. I've noticed like when they play songs off Opiate, how like the crowd kind of like sits down and some of them kind of nod their head, and then like the real ones are up there like fuck yeah, like singing all the lyrics and shit. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I could tell a lot of stories about Tool, but we'll just move on.
Okay. All right. This next topic is great. I guess what we can do is we'll shine the camera on me while Jeff talks about how jealous he is of this record that I have, and then we'll do vice versa. So, you want to go first, Jeff?
Yeah, this topic is I forget how it's worded, but it's basically which album does your co-host own that you were jealous of? And I am insanely jealous of Nick owning the album from Bloodhound Gang, One Fierce Beer Coaster. I would love to have a copy of that on vinyl. And whenever Nick and I were discussing this back even before we started Vinyl Bang, he told me that he owned this record. I was like, dude, I have to find a copy of this somewhere on vinyl. And it's hard to find. It's hard to find and pricey, and definitely. I want that record. You can stop showing it off now. That's an awesome album. I would love to have it. I love all the songs on it. Just a great record. Great album.
Yeah.
It's another one of those joke bands, kind of like we were referring to with Stormtroopers of Death the other night. Like, they're not meant to be taken seriously. Just everything's, they're a comedic band. So.
Yeah. Their songs are they're pretty ridiculous, but I enjoyed them a lot. I remember seeing them live and just having a blast, and they were. I mean, even before I saw them live, listening to those albums for so many months and just laughing so hard at their song titles. They, Kiss me where it smells funny. You're pretty when I'm drunk. I mean, those dudes.
Very entertaining.
All right, so the one that I chose for Jeff's got a ton of collection. Let's just not kid ourselves. Like his entire collection, I'm jealous of. But there's a couple things, I could have mentioned the Poacher Diaries test press. I could have mentioned quite a few test presses actually. I know you got a lot of good OG pressings of some classic albums, which is very very impressive as well. But an album that I definitely wish that I had a lot that I know you have and a couple other people have is the Anthropocene Extinction Trash Explosion. Which number do you have there, pal?
149. Yeah, 149 of 200.
149 of 200. Still sealed. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the prettiness of this record. If you want to see a reference, go back to the Travis Ryan episode. Travis breaks his copy out that he was man enough to open.
He was man enough to open. He fucking probably owns 10 copies of it.
That would be impressive. That'd be impressive as shit. I doubt he does, but
I doubt he has that many.
if he does, I'd be abusing him with his cell phone number. Anyways, yeah, that's a cool album. It's there's going to be a record that I'm going to talk about in the new stuff later. And I asked this gentleman if he had a copy of that. And he said he just parted ways with his copy. But I am on the hunt for that one. That's an amazing. That's one of my favorite albums by Cattle Decapitation. Um,
Agreed.
it's a really just with the concept that they've been doing the last few albums. It's a cool one, and just yeah, that particular pressing is very impressive. Jeff, I'm sure you can. What you can do is we'll insert a little picture of what it looks like. Are you smelling it?
No, I'm trying to get it to where it looks like me, like I'm laying here like this.
Oh, I thought you're like making out with it back there, guys.
Yeah, I could very well make out with it, and it still wouldn't hurt it because it's unopened. All right,
Jeff Grindstoffer, ladies and gentlemen.
Cut the cameras. I need some quality time with my trash explosion vinyl here.
Okay, moving on. Next topic. Alex Cha of the band Pig Destroyer. All right, album. Favorite record by a band named after a region.
Yeah, this one took a little thought, but Nick brought up the fact that the album that I just showed on the last episode as being a new record fits this topic perfectly. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll just do this one again then, but do more of a topic around it instead of just being a new record. I am talking, of course, about Missouri Executive Order 44. 2 episodes in a row, this band is getting featured because they were so good. Missouri Executive 44. This is, of course, the album that has the awesome spirograph screen print on the back. And I still have not put this on the turntable and put the needle over to see if this does anything cool, which I'm sure it does. But if it does, I will try to film it and capture it and show it to everybody how cool of an awesome, or how awesome of a design it is. Yeah. Regional, good old Missouri, where I'm born and raised. Missouri Executive 44, Salt Sermon. Definitely a band everybody should check out if you're a fan of the grindcore persuasion. Absolutely phenomenal band. You should check them out.
If you're a fan of the grindcore.
Yeah. I dabble. I mean, I'm not full-fledged in grindcore, but yeah, they're good.
Anywho, I didn't really have, I don't own any albums by the band Boston or Chicago or Kansas.
I do.
Well, man, you could have gone an easier route, buddy. But
could have helped you out.
Yeah, I don't really own much of that. I thought about it, and Mr. Alex Cha, he put in suggestions actually for what we could use, and I forgot that this was actually named after a location. Cypress Hill, Black Sunday. Man, you should know I talk about this album, this band a lot because of what they partake in. I love this album. I believe I was going into the 7th grade, so I discovered this and the album Dirt by Alice in Chains around the same time, and I guess Dr.Dre's The Chronic a couple months before all this, but this record's incredible. I Want to Get High. I Ain't Going Out Like That, which has a Black Sabbath sample in it. Insane in the Brain, When the Shit Goes Down, Lick a Shot, Cock the Hammer. Love that one. Little Putos, Legalize It, Hits from the Bong. What Goes Around Comes Around, Kid. A to the K, Hand on the Glock, and Break 'em Off Some. This is a repress. Love Cypress Hill. Shout out to Be Real. Come on my show, please. Come on our show, please. This is a fucking killer record. A really, really good hip hop album. He's got a very Be Real's got a very unique voice, and they were always a very unique hip hop band. They stood out from most hip hop bands. Um, but yeah, Cypress Hill. What country is that in? I'm drawing a blank. Cyprus.
Canada.
No,
I don't know. I have no idea.
no.
And be real, if you're watching this, do not come on our show and bring your talk of marijuana on our show, because
Yes, bring it.
do not encourage my co-host. He listens to you guys enough as it is. Don't need him doing any guest appearances on Cypress Hill albums from now on.
Oh my God, it would be a dream to smoke with Be Real. That'd be fucking amazing. But like, I'm sure he smokes like the finest of he like smokes gold blunts only, and you know, he's one of those like ballers. I heard Dino Cazares once tell a story that he hung out with Be Real a lot at one period in his life, and he had to stop because he went bankrupt trying to like keep up with them and that lifestyle. So like, yeah, man, like a metalhead trying to hang out with like a hip hop artist, like can't hang.
Yeah, you know what? Be real. Go ahead and start hanging out with Nick. That way he can quit buying records and stop having better records. So. Bring your bongs. Bring your bongs and your blunts and whatever.
Bring your 4-footer and bring it on as I take hits from bong.
Phenomenal album. Great album.
Very, very, very. I was about to like move on like I was going next. Our next one is a pretty cool one, actually, because me and Jeff had to do some research here. And as soon as I thought pretty hard about it, I knew who I was going to pick. It's pretty interesting, Jeff's pick, because this band has put out several albums on their own, but it's self-released. Favorite records that are self-released, meaning they didn't have any backing support from a record label.
No record label at all.
No, and when you had mentioned this, Jeff, because like I have several albums by this band that you picked when they split from their previous record label, and it's crazy how expensive some of them are online. Especially, hopefully, the one you're about to talk about.
Yeah, they. I don't know which pressing. I think I got the lesser of the two valued pressings. But anyway, never really put a whole lot of thought into this into how these albums were released over the years. But I've been a huge fan of this band for as long as I can remember, since the MySpace days. Like I remember back whenever I discovered Car Bomb on MySpace, and I never really put much thought into the fact that all of their albums have been self-released after Centralia. Like holy shit! Like I never really put any thought into this. But yeah, I picked Car Bomb Meta, which is not affiliated with the now very popular social media platforms. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say it on here to get algorithms and shit all fucked up. But yeah, this album, I picked this because of the guest vocals from Joe Duplantier of Gojira is on the song The Oppressor, and also guest vocals from Frank Mullen of the former vocalist for Suffocation on the song called Sets. I don't really want to say this is my favorite Car Bomb album, but it's definitely in the top 4, 5. How many Car Bomb albums are there? 5, 4? It's definitely up there, and it fluctuates. Whichever album I'm playing is my favorite album. And this is since we're discussing the pressing, let's go ahead and see which one this is.
Yes, let's look at what color our records are on this show.
As far as I know, they only did the 2. They did a red and then a yellow. This is of course the red pressing. I'm here all week.
There was a pressing that was like one side was supposed to be red and the other side is supposed to be yellow, and I have that one somewhere. But I think I parted ways with that yellow one that you got there.
Yeah, like I don't remember which one is the more rare.
Yeah, there's no info on it.
Is that right?
Not from what I could see.
I don't know if there's anything on Discogs or not, but
no.
Anyway, Car Bomb, great band. Great album. Great Elliot Hoffman. Be on our show. Text me back.
Bo show.
Text me back, Elliot Hoffman. Let's get you on camera. That'd be fun.
That
Talk
would
about yourself. It's talk about your self-released Car Bomb albums.
Mm-hmm. That can't be fun. I chose a band that, like I said, as soon as we knew that this was what we were doing here, I knew who I was going to pick. I'm going to go with our friends from up north, Fuck the Facts. This is one of my, it's a band that I became friends with because they were touring way too much and coming around our area. And then I would bug a couple of them online with hockey shit, but, you know, for the most part, they got pretty comfortable with me and was appreciating my presence a lot of the times. This is Amir and it says Unde EP Fuck the Facts. So it's an EP, it's a 10-inch. I'm gonna show some cool things that they did. This is just the standard black one. I have another pressing here. When you pre-ordered this, they came with some hand drawings from Mel. Like this one right here, these hands, and then this little boy body spider type thing here. Cool shit, right? You know, like these were like hand drawn by her, and then they slipped them into the casings here and shipped them out with the records. The other pressing I have with me of the same album is the clear pressing. Oh, a cloudy. And this is like a monkey gorilla like drawing here. And then the other one is a faceless woman. But yeah, so it's a little neat piece of thing to get from a band that, you know, that I admire a lot when, you know, and when it comes to DIY stuff. I think Fuck the Facts is very DIY. They do a lot of stuff on their own, but just, you know, when I remembered my surprise, I guess I think they advertised it that she was doing this, but and she must have done a lot of these like hand drawn pieces of art. There's like two per record. So yeah, Amir, the EP. I cannot pronounce all of these song titles. They're in French Canadian. When
Some of them are hard to pronounce.
When we have Topin on, he'll help us out with all that.
Yeah.
But again, a fucking awesome band. I love them a lot. Shout out to all of them, past and present.
Agreed. Yeah. Good band, good people. Stoked to hopefully get some time with Topin. We can get that to pan out.
Absolutely. Sorry, what am I doing here? The next topic. We got two more to go here, Jeff. We're rounding home plate here. Parental favorite album with a parental advisory sticker. You know, I remember as a kid a lot. My mother would refuse to buy me albums with that, and as an adult, I rarely see them anymore. But I'm intrigued by your choice tonight, Jeff.
My choice is one that I've been wanting to feature on as an artist. I've been wanting to feature on Vinyl Bang since its inception, 137 episodes ago. I would like to take this moment to thank my daughter for introducing me to this artist inadvertently. I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. It's probably been longer than that. This artist is somebody that every time I listen to this girl sing, I always think about my daughter and memories that her and I have of listening to and singing along at the top of our lungs to this artist. We've seen her several times throughout the years. I am referring, of course, to, I'm going to get the open one. I'm referring, of course, to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift Folklore. Don't you ever disrespect Taylor Swift again. Look at this parental advisory sticker on the album Folklore. which came out in 2020. This came out during the pandemic. Very surprised to hear this side of Taylor. I really was a huge fan of her early stuff. Whenever it was her and an acoustic guitar. My favorite album is Speak Now, but this isn't a tribute. Get to know Jeff Christopher on Vinyl Bang and his favorite Taylor Swift. She did a couple of albums that I wasn't entirely thrilled with, where she took more of a techno like beat, like pop approach to. She put the acoustic guitar down, was doing more dance anthems and whatever. I just wasn't a fan. And with this album, she picked up the guitar again and started singing again, and it was a beautiful thing. I'm just a huge fan of folklore. I'm probably going to drone on more than I should. Beautiful album. I own 2 copies. One of them, of course, is open, has been played, and then there is a Target exclusive, the double red vinyl, which is not open. I don't know why, because I probably don't listen to, don't need to have a different approach to listening to this album. But once again, even sold at Target with the parental advisory sticker. Yeah, I jumped at the chance to finally feature Taylor Swift just because she means so much to me and my daughter Sierra. I wanted to feature her on our show, and I finally got the chance to. Thank you, Alex Shaw, for letting me talk about Taylor Swift, and for Nick for not stopping the camera while we were doing it.
Shout out to Sierra.
Shout out to Sierra. It's my baby.
Thank you for looking at the crap that I post on the Vinyl Bang Instagram. She does look. She reacts to anything I post with you on there, so we appreciate the support.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Love you, baby girl.
All righty. Mine is just probably one of my all-time favorite records as a kid to see this. I remember my sister had this. Again, I was talking about this because I talked about this a couple picks ago. It was the summer. I was in the 6th grade, so I was about to graduate the 6th grade, and I remember hearing Dre Day by Dr.Dre, and so this guy was in NWA, and I was like, oh yeah. So I mean, there it is right there. Probably one of the most famous things, stickers or images in the 90s. Like, if that had it, you knew it was going to be a good fucking record, right? Especially as a kid, you'd think that. This album, I remember listening to it a lot. And one day coming home and seeing my dad sitting there looking at this was what the CD looked like. And so, like, it wasn't my CD, it was my sister's. But I have the clear pressing of this. Boom, there you go.
Target. Is that the Target clear pressing?
It is the Target exclusive clear vinyl. It's just what it says. I love this album. For many years, this was my favorite hip hop album. It's not like the best, lyrics or all that, but like the beats, everything that he did on this album was so good. It was my introduction to Snoop. Tons of great stuff on here. I'm not going to read off these songs because a lot of them contain a word that I would get shot for saying. But I love Dr. Dre. His follow-up album, Chronic 2001, was incredible too. I remember he did an Up in Smoke tour, and I wish I went to that because it was like everybody was on that. But this is also a good album to sit back and listen to and smoke pot to. Where is it? The song Lyrical Gangbang. That's a fucking awesome song. The beat on that fucking song is incredible. Just shouting out weird tracks on here, but yeah, Dr. Dre, The Chronic, great fucking hip hop album. That's two I've talked about in this episode.
Yeah, that's 2 hip hop albums this episode. But and they're both they're both phenomenal albums. Iconic, the iconic Chronic. Just like that album. I featured that one before. We talked about both albums. Cypress Hill and Dr. Dre. But I mean,
my turn to talk about them.
Yeah, dude. I love that album.
Yeah, great.
It's like the 2 albums, the 2 hip hop albums that you discussed in this episode were ones that, like, if you can't find anything else to listen to Black Sunday and The Chronic, just because they're amazing albums.
For sure. This sounds really good on vinyl as well. So
yes, it is.
All right. last topic. This is a cool one. Active band that you have not seen live yet. That you have not seen live yet, and
Yeah.
that was capitalized.
Yeah, this was unfortunately, like, I mean, I'm glad I get to talk about this record, but unfortunately, I've never seen this band live. Hopefully, one of these days. Foo Fighters, the color and the shape. I've never seen the Foo Fighters. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I had Melanie and I had tickets to see them back in like 18 or 19, and they had tickets on the fridge. And the night of the show, I think we were just like, let's just not drive to St. Louis to see the Foo Fighters. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened, why we didn't end up going. This album, you talk about iconic albums that just, if you can't find anything else to listen to, throw this on. Color and the Shape, dude. Just, oh my God, it is so good. Monkey Wrench, My Poor Brain, Wind Up, My Hero, See You, Enough Space, February Stars, dude. February's fucking stars. Like Walking After You, New Way Home. Amazing album. I absolutely love the color and the shape. Definitely one from my teenage years that has stuck with me through all of the gore grind and death metal and everything that I listen to, that I've become accustomed to over the past couple of decades. This is one that still, it means a lot to me. Yeah, great album. And hopefully one of these days I can see that perform live. And dude, if there was any musician that I would love to meet in person, it would be Dave Grohl. I would love to meet Dave Grohl. You always hear these stories about how he's such a people person, and very, very cool to hang out with. And you hear all these great things about Dave Grohl. I don't think I've ever heard a bad thing about him. I mean, the man was referenced in the Venture Brothers. The Venture Brothers mentioned the fact that Dave Grohl got King Diamond to do a song with his band. Like nobody has ever gotten King Diamond to do a song with their band, but Dave Grohl is just that guy. Where you get different vocalists, Lemmy, Max Cavalera. Just you have all these different vocalists do stuff with your band, but just Dave Grohl, I would love to meet him and see him perform live.
Absu had King Diamond on one of their songs, but he was uncredited. Yeah. But yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about Dave Grohl too. I know he doesn't sign autographs. He'll post for a picture, but he won't sign autographs because he just has that fear. He has that fear that you're going to sell it. So
rightfully so.
Yeah, I've seen him be very polite about it, and it's very, But yeah, that's crazy, man. When the color and the shape came out, they played a free show at the parking lot of the Tower Records that I eventually worked at years later. But this was back in 1996, seven, when that came out, and I couldn't go. I got in trouble in school, but I've mentioned many times, there's a giant music festival they used to have here, or a radio station called the HF Festival, which they're about to bring back. But Foo Fighters have played that quite a few times, and I got to see them a couple times over the years at that festival. And you said February Stars, that struck a chord with me because my cousin, that used to be her AOL name. And I always thought maybe, I don't know, it was like Kurt Cobain's birthday because her birthday's in February. Mm-hmm. So I thought maybe that's what, but I didn't know it was a Foo Fighters song.
It's an amazing song. It really is.
Yeah. No, they're a cool band. Dave Grohl, shout out to him. Please be on our show.
Yeah, dude, that would be amazing.
He's such a nice guy. He's the type of nice guy to do it, hopefully.
I'll make some calls.
Yeah.
Get Dave Grohl on the phone.
Call your boy, your Melvin's guy friends there.
I don't know if that would turn out well, but that's a whole other shit. That's a whole other thing.
All right. My last pick here is a band. They are kind of still active. Every now and then they play shows, and but because the singer and the guitarist of this band have other bands that they go back to every now and then and fulfill stuff with. I'm talking about Mars Volta. This is the Bedlam and Goliath. This is a pretty crazy cool record. Oh, that artwork, yeah. This
This would be
band,
like a backwards Ouija board.
is that what that is? I guess so. Yeah.
Like
Oh,
look
well,
from the
yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
This is these two guys are also in a band called At the Drive-In, which yeah, they put out one really cool album I really enjoyed. But this is a an original pressing, half black, half red. It's a double LP. I'm not going to break out the other vinyl because I just showed you what it looks like. But I'm glad you pointed out that Ouija board because it did come with this.
Well, yeah, there you go. That is that a disc or is that just a thing?
That's a vinyl. That's a picture disc vinyl. It's got a
Oh, I
song
see
called
the hole for it now. Okay, yeah, I see the yeah. Okay, I got you.
Mr. Muggs is the song. Is on both sides. Comes with this album when you pre-ordered it. I didn't pre-order it. I bought it years later, and yeah. But Mars Volta is an incredible band. I've seen at the drive-in. I saw their comeback tour at 930 Club a couple of years ago. I would love to see Mars Volta again. I thought their first couple of records were really cool. They were just a over the top prog band. I don't call them metal at all. Prog rock, if anything. I was told that I don't know how you say his name, John Petruccia, maybe he's the guitarist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
John
He's
Frusciante.
Frusciante, you know. See, I'm such an idiot. He's played like a guitar solo on like I think every one of their albums, and I think on the first album, Flea played bass on that album. That's from what I was told. The deloused in the crematorium, or what I'm probably pronouncing that one wrong too. But I love this record a lot. Pretty cool. Artwork's always been a little unique to me on all their albums. And again, they're just a very weird, unique band that does not sound like anybody else. Um, this album had a man. What was the drummer's name on this record? I wonder if it's on any of these sleeves. I'm sure it is. Thomas Pridgeon. If you ever heard of him, he plays single pedal and he's fucking amazing. And yeah, he was on this album. I saw him live with a band called Trash Talk, and
Mhm.
yeah, Mars Volta. Love to see them live someday. They're just they've got a lot of music and their songs are really long. So like it's almost like Opeth, where you're gonna probably catch like 4 or 5 songs live.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and depending on what they're touring to.
Right.
So
Yeah. Never got into that band. I don't know.
no,
You know, just was never subjected to them. Never had any friends that were like, "Hey, listen to Mars Volta, Jeff," and I just or at
were
the
you
drive.
ever? Well, okay, I was gonna say, did you ever hear about the drive-in? So I was working at Tower Records, and that's how I discovered At the Drive-In. That Relationship of Command album came out, and you know I remember always reading reviews about it, and then I finally we heard it one day. It was Ross Robinson produced, so pretty cool stuff. Kind of remind me a little bit of Rage Against the Machine, just the vocals, but it was very unique, very cool music. And then they broke up, and then we were told that half of them started a band called Sparta, the other half started a band called Mars Volta. And 2 friends of mine who I worked at Tower Records, shout out Katie and Eric, if they still watch this show. They were big Mars Volta fans, and I didn't get into them because of them, but they stayed fans for a long time. Eventually, when I got into them, and I talked about this album that I just talked about with them, they were not a big fan of that album. They liked a couple of the earlier ones before that. I don't think they didn't dislike the record. It wasn't their favorite one. They said they told me, but yeah, I was that was my favorite one as far as like what they released because it's very very unique and progged out.
Right on.
And I think around the time they released that, they toured with Mastodon. So 2 of the guys in this band were on Blood Mountain.
That sounds familiar now that you say that. I do remember you saying that.
Cedric, the singer, and I can't remember the gentleman's name who passed away a couple years ago. He played the keyboards.
Mm.
He was on Pendulous
Pendulous,
Skin. Yep,
pendulous skin. Yeah, I remember you
Pendulous
saying
Skin. Yeah. Cool. Well, all right, Jeff. You sure you didn't get? It's been weeks since we've done an episode together. Have you gotten any new records since then?
that. No.
No, man, dude, that's
Weeks.
crazy. It has
Week?
been weeks since we've been on the same screen with each other.
Yeah, I guess the last time we did an episode, I was like, I had no beard, so
Yeah,
it's been
you're
a
fresh
long time.
shave. However, we're teasing you people. We recorded an episode last night. That's why we're being so stupid right now.
Last night.
I did happen to get a record in the mail. Before I show this off, this is a fucking. This is. I'm so happy to own this. I have
Did
to
you
give a
say
shout
oof?
out. Yeah, because I'm like I don't want to touch it, but like then again, who the fuck am I kidding? Uh, I have to give a shout out to this guy Martin. He's out in Canada. He's a guy a friend that I made via Instagram through vinyl. Um, his handle's like L triple. I think there's some other symbols in there, but if you look him up, he's a friend of mine on there. He's got an amazing looking record collection. His Opeth collection in particular, I believe, was like his big his crowning achievement. But he started to part ways with his collection, and for years I always used to like just give him a lot of shit and be like, "Hey, if you ever get rid of Deliverance by Opeth, hit me up." Well, guess what? He finally hit me up. This is a first pressing. It's a picture disc vinyl of
Oh
Deliverance.
wow,
Um, oh, there you go. These handsome young men there, Swedish fellas. Um,
wow.
this album has only been pressed twice. This time and the second time it got pressed. This doesn't have any covers. It just came. I can't remember the name of the company that pressed it. I'll give it to you in a second. Vinyl Maniacs. It's a limited edition. It's like the seventh record that this company had put out. Um,
Wow, dude, that is awesome.
yeah. The second pressing came out maybe a couple years after this album had come out, and the song for Absent Friends, I think it was misprinted and it's like from Absent Friends. So like it says that on the case and I believe on the sleeve. So there's a misprint there. But I'm gonna buy that copy off of him too. I'm not gonna tell you how much I paid for these. I asked him to hold on to it for me, and in due time I will purchase it. But yeah, Opeth Deliverance. These are when I discovered Opeth. Blackwater Park was out, and then this one came out, and I love this fucking album. The first two songs alone on this record are just masterpieces, and yeah,
Agreed.
very very happy to have this in my collection. Like almost every Opeth album has been like repressed quite a few times, except for this one. This one's only been pressed twice, and it's a little long overdue. I feel like in a couple weeks they're going to announce like the brand new pressings and limited edition wood box version of this album, and you know,
That would be cool, but I mean, with the announcement of the Last Will and Testament, I think they're going to hold off on you're trying to sell anything else until at least the album's out. I would think. I don't know for sure, but
I don't know how that band operates. I'm not,
yeah,
but
I would.
yeah,
If we ever do another episode where there's a topic of albums that Nick owns that pisses me off that I'm jealous of, that's one of them. That album right there. That's going to be my answer.
I'm very very happy to own that one. Like I just recently, maybe like a year or so ago, went record store shopping with Blake and scored a copy of Blackwater Park, which was the first Opeth album that I owned on vinyl.
Mm.
There was a period where I saw, I think, Still Life. It was like a purple vinyl, and it was like $60 just to pre-order it. And I'm like, I was like, man, I can't do this. Like, I'd love to have that album,
Love Still Life.
that one, and My Arms Your Hearse. There's like all these records were repressed a couple years ago, but they were like 210 gram vinyl, color vinyl, and I'm like, yeah, again, there's like the list of albums I'd like to own on vinyl is getting a lot smaller. I'm very happy to have that one. That's just again, that's my favorite Opeth album. I know everybody's got their own, but that one, that's the one that does it for me.
That's a good one for sure. Yeah, I would like to track down a copy of that. And I'm like, one of these days.
Yeah, I hope you find one, man. That's again, great record, great band. I can't say anything bad about that band. People are like, oh, he doesn't growl anymore. I'm like, well, I know I had a problem with it. I was a young punk ass kid when I went to that show, that Damnation show. So like, it's very ignorant of me to sit there and complain that I paid money to go see a band expecting them to play something. You know, like as an adult, I feel like a total asshole saying telling that story because like those dudes can play whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to impress me. I mean, they are playing to me, but like they play whatever the fuck they want. And all
Right.
these other people who are actual fans of them, bigger fans than I was, uh, definitely appreciated what they were getting that night. So like,
Sure.
you know, whatever. Opeth, like I again, like such a popular band, great songwriters, brilliant songwriters. Like it's just one of those pieces that I'm very happy to add to my collection. So if you
Sure.
next time we come over here, I will have a beating stick if you get close to it.
I'll beat you with your fucking beating stick. All right. Well, that's it for episode 33.
Yes, thank you so much everybody for watching, listening, checking out our stuff. Put stuff in the comments there, and if you have suggestions for a viewer's choice, hit me or Jeff up. We would love to use your topic ideas because I am not as creative as most of you people.
A lot of people have really good ideas. And we love them. We love taking the topics that people send in and going over it, and turns out well. Just nobody
Shout out
wants to be
once
our
again.
guest on the show. Nobody wants to be on the show with us. So.
Yeah. Shout out once again to Alex Cha for the topics today. And again, when this episode airs, the very next day, Mr. Alex will be a married man. So cheers to Alex and Melanie. Cheers to Jeff and Melanie. And you all have a good night.
Well, that's a good way to end the episode. All right. Yep. All right. See you guys.